In life, we often take decisions in a hurry. We believe that only our way is correct. We assume that if someone thinks differently, then they must be wrong. But the reality is that every problem in life can have more than one solution. So when we label someone as wrong without trying to understand them, or when we ignore what they say, it becomes the greatest barrier to our own learning. In today's story, we will see how a young girl with her simple reply teaches us to think in a new way. She helps us realize that another person's point of view is not necessarily wrong. So let us listen carefully to this story, because hidden within it is a valuable lesson for life. Once upon a time, there was a small and beautiful village. In that village lived a girl named Emily. Emily was very energetic and happy by nature. She spent her days playing with her friends, with a small backpack on her shoulders filled with books and notebooks. She went to school every day. Emily enjoyed going to school, but she struggled a lot with one subject, math. Whenever she tried to solve math problems, she became confused. Even simple addition and subtraction below 10 made her use her fingers to count. At her age, this was quite normal. However, while other children were learning math quickly, Emily's family started to worry a little. One day in class, her teacher, Mr. Johnson, asked everyone to draw a picture. This was the children's favorite activity. All the students began drawing with great enthusiasm. Emily had brought all her drawing materials from home. She was fully focused on her work. Math might have been her weakness, but drawing was her strength. In fact, she was the best artist in the entire class. When the drawings were completed, Mr. Johnson looked through everyone's work. Some children had drawn their friends, some had drawn ducks, and others had made bright, colorful, and funny pictures. He understood the abilities of young children, so he encouraged them all. On each notebook, he wrote kind remarks and added his signature. In Emily's notebook, he wrote, "Well done, Emily. Excellent work. Your picture is truly beautiful." Reading those words, Emily's heart filled with happiness. She thought to herself how happy her mother would be when she showed her this drawing. As soon as the class ended, all the children rushed outside. Some children went to the canteen while others ran off to play. Emily had brought her own lunch, but she didn't like eating by herself, so she stayed with her friends. As they were ordering food at the canteen, her difficulty showed up once again. Emily found it hard to calculate, and one of her friends had to help her. Slowly, everyone began to realize that Emily was very weak in math. Soon after, math class started. Mr. Johnson was teaching a very simple addition. He picked up 3 apples from his desk and said, "All right, children, imagine I give you 1 apple, then another, and then 1 more. Tell me, how many apples are there altogether?" All the students answered together. But when it was Emily's turn, she began counting on her fingers. After thinking for a moment, she replied confidently with a smile, "5, sir." Mr. Johnson was a patient man. He thought perhaps Emily didn't like apples, and that was why she answered incorrectly. So he changed the question. "All right, Emily, now imagine I give you 1 strawberry, then another, and then 1 more. How many strawberries will you have in total?" This time, Emily counted on her fingers and cheerfully answered, "3, sir." Hearing the correct response, Mr. Johnson felt pleased, but he returned to the apple question. "Now count the apples again. I give you 1 apple, then another, and then 1 more. How many apples are there in total?" As he said this, he placed the apples into Emily's hands one by one. Without any hesitation, Emily replied simply, "4, sir." This time, Mr. Johnson began to lose his patience. He raised his voice slightly and said, "You can count strawberries correctly, so why can't you count apples? I gave you only 3 apples. Why do you keep saying 4? Emily drew back a little in fear and, in a soft voice, replied, "Because I already have 1 apple in my backpack, sir." Mr. Johnson was shocked by her answer. He understood that the problem was not as simple as it appeared. The student he had thought was wrong was not completely wrong after all. My friends, the same thing happens in our own lives. Many times, we believe we are right, but another person's different view may not be entirely wrong. Yes, 5 plus 5 equals 10. That is correct. But 6 plus 4 or 3 plus 7 also equal 10, don't they? So never assume that only your way is right. In this world, there are many paths, many reasons, and many perspectives. Before judging someone, listen carefully to what they have to say. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and comment. Your single comment encourages me to create even better stories. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet again with a new motivational video.